Hundreds of thousands line up for Nipsey Hussle's final victory lap, and people in Porter Ranch clean up their community. Plus, the Clippers shake up the playoffs to make NBA history.
Hello, and welcome to Valley View News. I'm Monica Campos.
And I'm Scott Gierman. Breaking news out of Colorado. More than 20 schools, including Columbine High School, were placed on lockdown. Jefferson County Sheriff Mike Taplin says they had a credible threat.
So at about 11 o'clock, our agency was notified about this FBI investigation. At about 12:15 is when about 24 schools were placed on lockout.
The threat comes just days before the 20th anniversary of the 1999 Columbine school shooting. The Jefferson County Sheriff's Office shared pictures of the female suspect, Sol Paez. The suspect is described as white, about 5'5", with brown hair. FBI agents described her as infatuated with the Columbine school shooting. The suspect was last seen wearing a black t-shirt, camouflage pants, and black boots in the foothills of Jefferson County. The lockdowns have ended and all students are safe.
2 young children are left without parents after a murder-suicide. The Chatsworth couple was found dead after gunshots were heard around 4:30 Sunday afternoon. The LAPD says the husband shot his wife, then himself. The children were not hurt, but were taken to a local hospital just in case.
Gas prices in Southern California continue to rise. The average price in Los Angeles is now $4.06 a gallon, and the highest since 2015. Refinery issues have cut the fuel supply. Some commuting CSUN students say it's taking a toll on their budgets.
That's very hard to afford if you don't have Costco gas.
Just adding an extra cost to me, even though, I can have that in my pocket and use it for something else,
This is the time of year when the demand of gas grows, and the cleaner summer blends do cost more. Prices have been steadily rising for more than a month.
Just a day after the Notre Dame Cathedral caught fire, more than $700 million has poured in to help rebuild the iconic church. It took 400 firefighters 12 hours to put out the flames. The fire brigade says 1 firefighter and 2 police officers were hurt. A prosecutor says there's no evidence of arson. CSUN Religious Studies professor Rick Talbot says the reaction has been intense.
If a Protestant church burns down, it's unfortunate, certainly, but when a Roman cathedral or church is destroyed, it has extra significance because, again, this is believed to be a place where Jesus actually becomes present in the celebration of the Eucharist.
The cathedral, built more than 800 years ago, is visited by more than 13 million people a year.
Some Porter Ranch residents have made a tradition of keeping their area park clean and graffiti-free. Valley View's Kimberly Silverio Bautista visited Limekiln Canyon Park to see the community in action.
Without Mike helping to organize this, we would not be able to do it. So
the Porter Ranch community got their hands dirty cleaning up Limekiln Canyon Park. They painted over graffitied walls and picked up trash. Mike Dobery organized the cleanup. He started doing this 15 years ago with his son to teach him a valuable lesson.
The motive was to help educate my son and some of his friends, which we involved with the school, to bring an awareness of the beauty of the creek down here.
A tunnel near a hiking trail had graffiti all over the walls. Teenagers and adults painted the walls, giving them a cleaner look.
My name is Salvador Diosdado.
He volunteers twice a year.
It's not as bad as it was like maybe a couple years ago. The community is actually doing their part because we don't see it as much as we used to before.
As volunteers cleaned, the Los Angeles Police Department to watch over their safety. Officer Daryl Williams made sure no transit would bother any volunteers.
There are a lot of transients that live out here, and a lot of the trash that's left behind is left by them. And sometimes they get kind of angry when you try to take away their stuff.
The Porter Ranch community appreciates the volunteers' efforts for keeping the Limekiln Canyon Park clean. The next cleanup will happen in fall. Reporting from Porter Ranch, for Valley View News, this is Kimberly Silverio.
Rapper Nipsey Hussle's memorial had plenty of A-list celebrities, but equally important in attendance were the many fans who considered him an icon. Valley View's Rico Bruce has the story.
The massive celebration of life memorial service for Nipsey Hussle saw the rapper's family, friends, and fans speak of the man they knew. Kimberly Park, who grew up with Nipsey, said he did a lot for the community.
It definitely hurt the community. It did hurt the community, but it's also bringing the community together also. So, you know, in honor of him, the gangs are coming together, they're doing unity.
Nipsey Hussle was also a positive light for the world. That explains why thousands showed up at a jam-packed Staples Center to pay respects. His fans were inspired by him, even after his death.
I mean, just right here.
Thousands of
beautiful,
people.
Thousands of people,
well,
yeah.
You must have done something right.
Yeah, you made a huge impact on LA community, actually on the world.
We gotta look to each other and come together to put an end to this nightmare for all of humanity.
They 1 for 25, 2 for 40.
Nipsey inspired with his music, yes, but he also opened up his own businesses. He had a clothing store and a computer lab for kids. He gave jobs to people in the community. A woman who shops at his store wants to keep his family in prayer.
To all the mothers, Nipsey mother, you guys are in my prayer because it's a hard feeling to lose a child. I haven't lost one, God forbid. Let's keep everybody in prayer.
Other fans went all out for the rapper. Some displayed their culture as they spread Nipsey's message. Jennifer Ann Jones made a special umbrella for the rapper. She says the spirit called her to make it.
This represents that he's an African king to me, and all the various layers and colors of his personality, his traits, his message. He was a prophet, a messenger, and the fact that he stood so tall and so strong and continued his journey and his marathon and will continue it through us.
Nipsey Hussle was not only a true inspiration to the Los Angeles community, but to people all across the world. He will truly be missed, and as he would say, the marathon continues. This is Rico Bruce, Valley View News.
Here's Valley View's Eric Gabriel with entertainment. Eric?
Thank you, Scott. Some Hollywood milestones. Anchor Hoda Kotb welcomes adopted baby girl named Hope Catherine. The Today Show host revealed the news on the show and said her 2-year-old daughter is embracing her role as a big sister. And Emmy-nominated comedian Georgia Engel has passed away at the age of 70. Best known for her role on The Mary Tyler Moore Show, Engel passed away on April 12th. And Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt are officially single. The couple filed for divorce back in 2016 and continue to work out issues regarding custody of their 6 kids. Game of Thrones is back. This weekend, Valley View News' Natalia Vivino visited a spot in LA that's giving fans a memorable experience.
In the Game of Thrones, you either win or you die.
This bar in LA is typically Star Wars themed, but this month, it's decked out for Game of Thrones. The hit fantasy saga premiered its 8th and final season last night, and fans made sure to celebrate.
I've got 3 or 4 friends who come over. We do a big barbecue, and we also play the Game of Thrones Fire and Ice. Actually, it's Ice and Fire game that we play, and we're going to roll some dice, and we're going to have a barbecue, and we're going to watch the show.
The bar, called the Scum and Villainy Cantina, has everything from the Iron Throne to weekly trivia nights,
that creepy little Joker is your new best friend,
themed drinks, and decor. Even the bartenders are dressed up. Several fans went full out as well.
Yeah, I spent a day making this myself on my sewing machine, so trying to cosplay to next levels, I guess.
It's been 2 years since the series has been on TV. Critics say last night's episode broke viewing records. Fans say the show's impact is undeniable.
I'm just really excited to see how everything culminates.
It's definitely something you wait for like every Sunday and like maybe watch the episode twice until it's finished.
This bar here says it all, right? It's definitely had an impact on everyone.
The final season will only be 6 episodes long, and there's no telling how the show will end, but fans don't have long until they find out. In Los Angeles for Valley View News, I'm Natalia Vivino.
Big Bird, Elmo, and other Sesame Street residents are going on a road trip. The Muppets are starting at a 10-city tour. It starts on June 1st in New York and will be in LA in August. That's all your entertainment news. I'm Eric Gabriel. Back to you guys.
The Trump administration ended a coveted program for Cuban baseball players who wanted to play pro ball in the U.S. Now, many Cuban players find their pro prospects dramatically changed. Valley View's Jesus Partida explains.
Under the Obama administration, Major League Baseball made a deal with Cuba to let players compete in the United States without having to defect. Now that the deal is gone, The players must face the consequences if they defect.
It is a little bit of a shame that Cuban players can't come here more easily, more freely to play, because they're some of the best players on earth.
It's a high drive to center field.
Cuban-born players have had a big impact on U.S. baseball for a long time. Some think it isn't fair that they have to defect in order to play in the majors and make a good living.
Anyone should be able to come to the United States solely for their own purposes, whether it's playing baseball, whether it's, financial reasons, anything.
In the past, when Cuban baseball players defected, they didn't go straight to the United States. They went through human traffickers. Trafficking wasn't a problem as long as there was a Cuba-US baseball deal. Now, trafficking becomes a problem again.
It'd be great for baseball if Cuban players could come. Cuba's a special case, I think, with what they got going on down there and the government side of things.
Before the deal was canceled, Cuba released a list of 34 players who could sign with MLB. Now, they must find other ways to make it to the majors. In Northridge for Valley View News, I'm Jesus Partida.
Yesterday was a drama-filled banner day for LA sports. The Dodgers got a much-needed win, and the Clippers shocked the world champions of basketball. Valley View's Ethan Hansen explains.
The Clippers made history last night, and it started with Lou Williams, who hits the floater. Clippers now down 2. Williams again hits the step-back jumper and ties the game. Ensuing possession, Stephen Curry was held to just 7 points in the second half, but hits a 3 there. Warriors up 3, but the Clippers would not stop battling. Shai Gilgeous, Alexander to Landry Shamet, who hits from deep, and the Clippers overcame a 31-point deficit, the largest in NBA playoff history, to stun the Golden State Warriors on the road 135-131 to tie the series at 1-1. The series now headed back to Los Angeles. And now to Chavez Ravine on Jackie Robinson Day, the Dodgers taking on the Reds. Clayton Kershaw making his season debut facing former Dodger Yasiel Puig. Puig feeling right at home blasts a 2-run shot off Kershaw. Man on for Jock Peterson. Peterson on a pitch up unloads one over the right field wall, and the Dodgers would celebrate Jackie Robinson Day in walk-off fashion by defeating the Cincinnati Reds 4-3.
That was Valley View's Ethan Hansen. Coming up, a huge cyber attack in Ecuador following the arrest of Julian Assange.
And Samsung unveils a new foldable phone. Stay with us.
Says 2 in the rundown.
It's fine that other people like you. It's more important that you like yourself. And I'm comfortable with every part of me. Meals on Wheels coming to my door as someone who's housebound assures me that I'm not forgotten. They care that I'm okay. My name is Asha Ida Bell. America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Parts of the U.S. have been experiencing severe, deadly, and unpredictable weather. Destructive tornadoes hit Texas, killing 9 people. And flooding continues in the Midwest, causing problems for farmers which could affect our nation's food supply. The flood's conditions are swamping crops and causing farmers to evacuate their animals. And in Chicago, 1,000 flights were canceled when temperatures dropped to 32 degrees and the snow fell 2 inches per hour. This week, forecasters say more of the same. About 120 million are in the path of more extreme storms across the Midwest and the Southeast.
The Mueller report is due Thursday. Attorney General William Barr says he will be redacting information, but it's not clear how much. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says the people have a right to see it.
The American people deserve the truth. They need to know the truth. There was an assault made on our elections by the Russians.
Many expected Trump to use executive privilege to keep the report from being released, but he says he wants the people to see the facts. There's a lot going on in international news.
Here's Claire Hambrick in our Digital Media Center.
The first shipment of humanitarian aid from the Red Cross has arrived in Venezuela. The 24-ton shipment contained medicine and supplies. Workers in blue vests helped load boxes onto trucks. Leaders of the Red Cross and Red Crescent Society had pleaded with officials to keep the aid out of the nation's political issues. President Nicolas Maduro has denied aid in the past, saying they aren't beggars. Separatist groups in Indonesia have called for an election boycott, and they want a vote to secede from the country. This comes months after soldiers in the provinces of Papua and West Papua killed nearly 36 people. The UN is deciding whether to send a human rights delegation. The African Union threatened to revoke Sudan's membership unless the country's military establishes civil rule within 15 days. The AU rejected the seizure of power by the Sudanese military and its plans to lead for 2 years. The AU is urging Sudanese military to refrain from any act or statement that would make the situation worse. The worry is that stability in the North African region is at stake. Ecuador's government may be facing virtual retaliation for allowing the arrest of WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange. The country's deputy and Information for Communication Technology says its institution's websites faced 40 million cyber attacks in the days since Assange was taken in. Systems attacked include the President's Office, the Internal Revenue Service, and the Central Bank. So far, though, no serious damage reported. A dog has been found swimming 130 miles off the coast of Thailand. The canine was found cold and shivering with no indication of how he got there. Oil rig workers throw a rope around the pooch to rescue him. He was shaking and couldn't stand. One of his rescuers said the dog's eyes were so sad. They bathed him, gave him an electrolyte drink, and named him Boonrod, which means survivor. Boonrod has returned to the mainland. He'll be given temporary shelter at a dog home until he's stronger. That is all for international news. Now back to you, Scott.
Now let's get the latest on health news with Tia Dunbar.
Thank you, Scott. New York City officials have closed a preschool after it did not provide vaccination records during the measles outbreak. Deputy Mayor Erminia Palacio says everyone over 6 months old living in the Williamsburg part of Brooklyn must be vaccinated.
This execution of this order today and the closure of schools indicates that we are very serious about following through on the commissioner's orders.
But some Williamsburg parents are now suing the city, seeking a temporary restraining order to prevent mandatory vaccinations. More than 300 New York children have gotten measles since the epidemic began. CSUN is seeing red. People are donating blood on campus. The United Blood Services truck will be stationed between Santa Susana Hall and the Matador Bookstore until 2:30. The University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia has recently approved a study using CRISPR on cancer patients. A spokesman for the university says 2 patients have been treated using the gene editing tool. CRISPR has become a powerful gene editing technique that could eventually help cure many diseases. CRISPR is a type of technology that allows DNA to be modified. Israeli digital startups are growing. Some are working on the algorithms to detect diseases early and produce more accurate diagnosis. Startup Nation Central says the growth of digital health startups has gone up 32% every year since 2014. By the first quarter of this year, they have raised more than $200 million. Cannabis users need more sedation for medical procedures. Researchers at the community hospital in Colorado found pot users need 14% more fentanyl. One professor of anesthesia says future studies need to control amounts of sedation and compare the effects, not just compare medical records with the amount of sedation. Researchers admit some patients also take other recreational drugs that may have an effect on the final results. As many Americans get older, they'll find many useful technologies that are perfect for seniors. Valley View's Byron Gonzalez explains.
John said, "Hi, Mom. Guess where we are today?"
The Aging into Technology Conference helps older generations learn about new technologies. Justin Ulrich says many people need to learn about the new advancements.
The more they experience it and the more they think about the status quo today and what the potential for improvement is, we actually see people get pretty excited about that opportunity.
It became a really good platform for having public conversation.
Experts help people become familiar with new platforms. Lisa Codner says many older adults want to learn about new technologies.
But we have to design products that they can really access and are customized to their experience. They might not be digital natives, but they're into it.
By introducing older people to technology, it'll help with eliminating age stereotypes.
Almost every older person.
Ashton Applewhite says tech has great potential to overcome age challenges.
But I want that to happen in a world of age equity where you don't start to lose really value as a human being.
The future looks bright when old and new adapt and come together. I'm Byron Gonzalez in Los Angeles for Valley View News.
That's all for Health News. Back to you guys.
Coming up on Valley View News, Tiger Woods and Nike working together again.
Also, two bald eagles and Big Bear become parents on camera.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
I'm a single mother, and I was the main one working, so I never thought that I could go back to school, you know? My sister, my mother, everybody wanted to help me with my kids. I could not have gotten my diploma without my family.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Here's Luisa Rodriguez with the latest in social media, tech, and business news. Luisa?
Two House committees are looking into Donald Trump's business operations with Deutsche Bank. The investigation is being done to explore the U.S. financial system and the involvement of the president and his associates. The Trump organization has borrowed more than $2 billion from Deutsche Bank over the years. It still has about $300 million to pay off. Tiger Woods' win at the Masters created millions of dollars worth of exposure for Nike. Apex Marketing says the swoosh was the most seen logo during Sunday's coverage. Minutes after his win, Nike put an ad on social media saying, "Never stop chasing your crazy dream." It went viral. Nike was one of the few companies that did not drop Woods after his downfall. The Peterson Automotive Museum hosts many events in addition to ongoing exhibits. Valley View car guy Nathan Espinoza went to get the scoop on the European car community.
Euro 19 was this past weekend at LA's Peterson Automotive Museum. There were auto enthusiasts attending with their friends and families. Cars from all parts of Europe were on display. There was a variety of cars, colors, vendors, and people. I got a chance to speak with one event sponsor, Car Motive, about what this show means for the community.
It's actually great. We have a lot of supporters here. All of these cars here all have Car Motive banners, and they're all here to support us, and we're here to support them. It's an art, that we take seriously, and we enjoy it. We love it.
Euro 19 is showing what the car community is all about, and that's family. This is one big family, no matter what you drive, whether it's a Volkswagen, a Porsche, or a BMW, everybody is here for the same reason, to show their support for the car community.
Basically what we do here is we all hang out. It's a community, barbecues, just gatherings, anything that we can just get together and just hang out.
Well, it's great to talk to people. It's like a networking thing almost too. You can ask people what they've done to their cars, get advice on what to do to yours, and just sort of compare and contrast.
Whether you enjoy old cars, new cars, or something in between, Euro 19 had something for everyone this year. Reporting in Los Angeles for Valley View News, I'm Nathan Espinosa.
The UK wants to ban likes from social media for everyone under 18. One Facebook user thinks it's a good idea.
Over there in the UK, it's like entirely new set of rules, so they should be able to dictate whatever they feel is right.
Likes encourage children to use social media. The idea of this proposal is to protect the privacy of children. It involves an app to limit data collection and disable location tracking. Other countries like the US may follow suit in regulating online privacy for children. The internet and online shopping is hammering sales of traditional retail-centered stores. Valley View News reporter Jamonte Hickman reports on the struggle between online shopping and shopping the old-fashioned way.
Brick-and-mortar stores have suffered a decline in sales. Physical retailers such as Walmart, Target, and Macy's are trying to compete with online sales. The U.S. Census Bureau reported Tuesday that online sales beat physical retail sales.
It's just become so much easier and more convenient for people to look for those bargains. It is so much easier now to do all your prep online before you make a big purchase.
Customers think that online shopping is much easier. It saves time. They are able to find cheaper prices. They can purchase pretty much anything from clothes, electronics, houseware, and even groceries.
Not only do I not have to go to a mall, but it will instantly arrive in maybe 2 days.
Brick-and-mortar retailers are noticing fewer shoppers. These stores are struggling to remain appealing to customers. Online sales has forced companies like JCPenney and Bed Bath & Beyond to close many of their stores.
The clue is to actually reformat the retail space and that traditional American mall model into making it more appealing.
More customers will continue to shift more of their purchases online. They love being able to order merchandise by the click of a button. Reporting from Los Angeles for Valley View News, I'm Jamonte Hickman.
That's it for social media, tech, and business news. Monica and Scott, back to you.
New eagle eyes in the sky. Big Bear welcomes 2 new baby bald eagles. After weeks of waiting, many excited viewers watched over YouTube live stream. Friends of Big Bear suspected one of the eggs was ready to hatch when a pip appeared on one of the eggs. The 2 baby chicks were born just 1 day apart. That's all for us at Valley View News. Thank you for watching. I'm Monica Campos.
And I'm Scott Gierman. For news any time of the day, go to our website, sundial.csun.edu. See you next week.